Sometimes there's simply no rhyme or reason. I mean, that's the bottom line, doing this every single day for as many years as I have and as you have as well. I'll give you a perfect example. Last Saturday was horrific, okay? First of all, my best bet, a 15-9 play on Tulsa at home against Central Florida. I get backdoored because the Golden Hurricane jump out to a 24-3 halftime lead. And then on 3 consecutive possessions in the third quarter, interception, fumble, Central Florida scores on all 3 of them. This is a team that had been only averaging 14.5 points on the season. The worst scoring team in all of college football in Division 1A ball. And they scored 3 straight times. And then my free picks last week, 2 losses and 2 pushes, right? Not exactly a great Saturday, let's face it. So yesterday, I look at the card, and I spent hours handicapping the card yesterday because I was going to fly cross country. Matter of fact, I'm doing this video report, almost 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I've been going now for about 19, 20 hours so far today. My plane was delayed 2 hours. Coming across country was bad enough on the red eye, and then getting delayed, it just made it even worse. But I had handicapped all night Friday into Saturday morning, and I loved the card. Then again, I loved the card 2 Saturdays ago as well. So what happens? My best bet of the day, Marshall. And if you got that play on Marshall, did I not nail Marshall yesterday? And if you're not aware of what the situation involved with the Thundering Herd yesterday marked, of course, the 45th anniversary of the horrific plane crash that killed 37 players, 8 coaches, 75 people in all. It was exactly to the day, 45 years ago. And I just thought that Marshall, coming off a triple overtime loss at Middle Tennessee State, in which the Thundering Herd missed 5 field goals in that 3-point loss, which snapped their 7-game winning streak, they would be focused because of the memorial service that was being held early on Saturday morning. It was going to be senior day. They lost last year on senior day to Western Kentucky. And I pointed out that Florida International, their opponent yesterday, even though they were a 10.5-point dog, didn't deserve to be a 10.5-point dog because they had just been horrific all season on the road. Well, what happens? Marshall was up like 38-0 at halftime in that game, and Marshall rolls 52-0, okay? But that wasn't even the best part. The best part then, my free picks yesterday. Now, remember what I just told you about last Saturday? My free picks yesterday, Arkansas State. Did I not tell you this is a team that just roars like crazy in the second half of games? They come back and they beat UL Monroe, a game that was tied at 21 apiece. They beat them 59-21 as a 14.5-point road favorite. I then give you Southern Mississippi. And I told you yesterday in the video report, I came this close to using the Golden Eagles as my best bet instead of Marshall. Would it have mattered? They were a 7.5-point favorite in double revenge at Rice. They won 55-10. And then I gave you California, telling you that after playing Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Stanford, I think it was, that California, no, not Stanford, somebody else, one of the top teams in the Pac-12, that California, in the 4-game losing streak, was finally going to get a cupcake. Oregon State was coming to Berkeley, and I had no qualms laying the points. And the Golden Bears win 54-24. So think about it, because I've never had a day like that before where I had every single team that I use score 52 points or more. 52 for Marshall, 59 for Arkansas State, 65 for Southern Miss, and 54 for California. I'm telling you, there's no rhyme or reason. There are no guarantees in gambling. There's a couple other 100 cliches I can give you, but it just shows you the wonderful thing about this thing that we do that we love is that today can be awful, but you always have redemption right around the corner. Okay, this is going to be your Sunday video report. I've got a couple of free plays coming your way. I'm going to take a look at the Carolina-Tennessee game and also Oakland and Minnesota, 2 teams that I have yet to use as a play this season, but I really just have a hunch, a strong feeling about that game. I'm going to get to it in just a moment. Listen, Matt Rivers yesterday came out with the 16th ever blank check college football release of his career. And it's a 13-year career because he's one of the charter members here of the site. And he delivered with Ohio State getting the job done, laying 18 points, winning 28-3 easily at Illinois. And you got that play at a savings of $75 off the regular price, getting for just $34. Today, a more rare play even, the 9th ever NFL blank check release of his career. And here's the deal, guys. He says it's a 2 TD burial blowout. It's one of your 1 o'clock Eastern time kickoffs, and it's the half price play of the day simply by using coupon code BLANK, BLANK, for Matt Rivers' big play. Quick props going out to Craig Davis, who yesterday was one of the featured discounts plays. He cashed in with a 75-dime winner, number 4 in a row. South Florida, 3-point home dog out right over number 1 Temple, 44-23. Props also going out to Anthony Red. College football winner, number 17 out of 22, delivering yesterday with Oregon, 10-point dog, outright at Stanford. Well, today, Anthony's got to play equally as strong. You got yesterday's play at a substantial discount, and the same thing goes today. Because today, Anthony has his 80-dime winner, number 13 out of 17. It's his Sunday night game of the year. It's Arizona at Seattle. He's going for winning day, and let me just check the site here to get you the exact numbers. Winning day number 32 out of 48, 23 out of 33, and 11 out of 14. Not a bad winning streak, right? Anyway, same thing. You can save today $55 on the purchase price of this play simply by using coupon code REDD, R-E-D-D. Now listen, guys, all your other promos, etc., will be available over on the homepage by 10 o'clock Eastern time. As I said, it's 4 o'clock Eastern time right now. I don't know what other guys are doing. I don't know Chris Jordan or Brad Wilton or Gabriel DuPont, who all won yesterday, and Craig Davis. I don't know what they're doing, but when I see who's got the big plays, again, you know my philosophy. You don't have to spend big money to make big money, and you'll find those discounted plays available on the homepage. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays here. Late afternoon action. So you've got Oakland as a 3-point favorite at home against Minnesota. Teddy Bridgewater, recovering from that concussion, is going to play here today. I know that the Vikings have just done a great job. 6-1 in their last 7 games straight up with 7 straight covers. But I look at this team, and I'm still not that impressed. Yeah, they got Adrian Peterson. They have a pretty decent defense as well. But, I look at the Vikings, and I keep telling myself, they are just due. And I think they're due for the loss today at Oakland. And one of the reasons why is because this Oakland offense is so dynamic with Derek Carr having such a good season. And I'll get to his numbers here in just a moment. But I look at this Minnesota defense, and have they faced an offense as dynamic as the Raiders this season? No. Look at their opponents. 49ers. Well, they lost that game the season opener on Monday night, right? The Lions? The Chargers? Injury-riddled Chargers with Phillip Rivers and nothing else? Doesn't qualify. The Broncos, look, they're all about the defense. It isn't about the offense anymore with Peyton Manning and company. The Chiefs, the Lions again, the Bears, the Rams, no dynamic offenses. Oakland can put points on the board. Now, as we saw last week in the loss to Pittsburgh, Oakland can certainly giveth as well as they taketh. Because the Raiders last week, they gave up a franchise record, 597 yards in that loss to Pittsburgh. You score 35 points and you lose the game. But that's the thing. They scored 35 points, and they scored 34 points at home in that 2 TD win against the Jets. And they scored 37 points at home in that 8-point win against the Chargers. So last 3 games, 37, 34, 35 points. Derek Carr, 19 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. He's got the bevy of talented wide receivers. Minnesota's a very pedestrian-oriented attack. I'm still not sold Teddy Bridgewater is that guy. I like Oakland here. And again, the line is 3, so I would buy down. If that line's anywhere between 3 and 4.5, I'm buying down the half point on the silver and black. Early game, Carolina and Tennessee. Is this not the definition of a trap game? I talked about it earlier this week. One customer here had written in and asked me to talk about my definition of a trap game. And as I told you then, I'll repeat now. My personal definition of a trap game is when it's a look ahead or a letdown. It's a sandwich situation. And that's what the Carolina Panthers are in here today. Look at what happened last week. They jumped out to the big lead at home as the dog against Green Bay, had to withstand the 4-touchdown comeback rally by the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. They managed to hold on to win, and now they're going on the road. And the odds makers have installed them as a 4-point favorite. Right there. Doesn't it make your antenna go up? Doesn't that make you go, red flag, there's something wrong here with this price? Why? Because we're going to be impressed with Tennessee? Oh, yeah, the Titans went to New Orleans last week and they beat the Saints, blah, 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 blah. Marcus Mariota returned from the 2-game absence with a knee sprain, and he was magnificent. 378 yards, 4 touchdowns, and his offensive line afforded him great protection. It's the Saints, for Christ's sake. They have no defense. They got a defensive coordinator that, other than needing a haircut, he should be needing a job. Rob Ryan sucks. The defense sucks. They have no pass rush. They have no secondary. I mean, some of you guys out there could have thrown for 378 yards. Anyway, the 34 points they got at New Orleans last week, that was more than their previous 4 games combined. I just don't see this happening again today. I don't see the Panthers blowing them out because, the Titans have a pretty good defense. But this is a Panthers team that is 3-0 straight up and against the spread on the road this season, has won 5 straight regular season road games going back to last year, has won 12 straight regular season games overall going back to last season. Titans haven't covered 2 straight games since the start of the 2013 season. They're in a 7-15-2 slump against the spread as an underdog. They've lost 9 straight games straight up at home. I mean, is Carolina going to be able to get to Marcus Mariota? Hey, he has been sacked 19 times in the 6 games he has played, and the Panthers can bring the heat, right? I'm going to go with Carolina here. Again, 4 points, 4.5 points. I'm buying down the half point, anywhere between 3 and 4.5. Any situation, and that applies to Carolina today as well. Final game. Let's take a look at the game between Denver and Kansas City. Well, we remember what happened in week number 2 when Kansas City seemingly had the game in hand. Peyton Manning marched the Broncos down the field, 36 seconds left to play, through the 24-yard touchdown pass. He had a tie game. Andy Reid had a brain freeze. Instead of just running out the clock and going for overtime, you're playing at home. You blew the big lead. Hands the ball to Jamal Charles. He fumbles the ball. It's returned for a touchdown. Boom. Broncos win the game, right? Now, you got a Broncos team that's coming off its first loss of the season. You got Peyton Manning, who, in checking out the Denver Post here earlier this morning, he is not only bothered by a sore foot, but also a rib cage injury as well. He didn't practice Wednesday, limited practice on Thursday and Friday. Of course, he's listed as probable today, and he's going to play. The real key for the Broncos here today, however, is rediscovering their ground game because it was missing in action against Indianapolis, as it has been frequently this season. They got to get back to where they were when they ran for like 160 yards against the Packers a couple of weeks ago. Denver's a 4.5-point favorite. Again, is this a trap game? Because the Broncos are coming off their first loss? Really? Do you think Peyton's going to let the Broncos just sit around and feel sorry for themselves because they're no longer undefeated? I don't think so. They're going back at home. They still have the dominating defense. What does Kansas City have offensively? Alex Smith and what? Jamal Charles is gone. He had that great game before the fumble in week number 2, but he's gone. He's not there anymore. Chiefs aren't that good offensively. Defensively, they're average. They don't have much of a pass rush either, FYI. Now, Broncos are missing some key players. DeMarcus Ware, back issues. He's not going to play this week. Talib, the outstanding cornerback. I think one of the best defensive backs in all of football right now, along with Darrelle Revis. He's been suspended for 1 game. I still would like to go with the Broncos in this spot, minus the 4.5 points. I realize it could be a 3 to 4 point game. Again, you're buying down the half point on Denver. Number 1 defense still in all the NFL, 17.4 points a game, 274 yards per game allowed. And FYI, for you statistic junkies, the Broncos 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games following a straight-up loss. So, again, I'm going to go with Denver. So, Denver minus the points at home, Carolina minus the points on the road, and the Oakland Raiders. That's kind of my hunch play. But I'll tell you what, I really like the Raiders in that game a lot. That's going to be your final selection. Good luck, everybody. Hey, listen, they're all favorites, but we're in Arkansas State and southern Mississippi and California, big favorites yesterday. Sometimes the favorites do cover. Yes, they do. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.